Okay, so I want you to picture this. It's every parent's worst nightmare, but it starts out looking like, well, like every kid's dream. It's May 2011. A mother, Amy Pitzen, walks into her son's kindergarten class.
6 years old.
Right, in Aurora, Illinois.
And she pulls him out of school. But there's no emergency. She tells him there is, but that's a lie. She just puts her son, Timothy, in her SUV, and they start driving.
And when you look at the paper trail, the receipts, the security footage, it wasn't some kind of, grim abduction. It was a vacation, a surprise trip.
Exactly. They go to the Wisconsin Dells. They're hitting up water parks, the Brookfield Zoo. There's footage of them at a resort, and he's having the time of his life. He's holding her hand. He's smiling. It looks perfect.
A core memory, you'd think.
And then the whole timeline just snaps. It ends in the worst way you can imagine. Amy is found dead in a motel room.
It's a suicide. And she's alone.
She's alone. And Timothy is gone. And that's where this story turns from a tragedy into, a truly haunting mystery. Because she didn't just leave her body, she left a note.
Yes. And this note is the linchpin of the whole case. It has divided investigators, everyone, into two camps. She writes that Timothy is, quote, safe with people who love him.
Which sounds okay, maybe, like she gave him away.
Right, but then she adds this final, just devastating line. You will never find him.
You will never find him. That line is everything. Is it a fact? Is it a taunt to her husband? Or is it somehow, in her mind, a final act of protection?
That's what we're going to get into in this deep dive. We've pulled the case files, the forensic botany reports, which are absolutely wild, by the way.
Oh, they're incredible.
And the psychological profiles. We're going to try to answer it. Is Timmothy Pitzen living a secret life somewhere? Or is he lost forever in a field in Illinois?
So let's start with that trip. The media calls it the goodbye tour now.
Yeah, and when you look at the itinerary, it just feels so manic.
It does. It's intense. Hundreds of miles in about 48 hours. But psychologically, that can fit a very specific and very dark profile.
What's that?
It's known as maternal filicide suicide. I know it's a heavy term, but often the parent, usually battling severe depression, which we know Amy was, they want to give the child one last perfect experience.
So the water parks, the toys, that was staging?
It's often seen that way, yeah. It's a kind of resolution. Once they've made that final decision, the anxiety can drop, they seem calm, and they want those final moments to be filled with joy. It's a really twisted form of love.
But that's where the secret life theory gets its legs. If she was planning to end both of their lives, why drive all over 2 states?
Exactly. Why not do it at home?
Her note says she gave him to people who love him. That's theory A, the one that keeps hope alive.
The handoff theory. The idea that Amy, knowing she was going to end her life, didn't want him raised by his father. Their marriage was crumbling, so in her mind, saving him meant giving him to a new family.
Okay, which brings us to the most critical part of this entire file. The gap. The missing time.
This is the blackout window. It's what everyone has been trying to fill in for over a decade. So, May 13th, they've left the fun zone, the zoos and water parks. They drive south to the Sterling Rock Falls area of Illinois.
And Timothy is last seen on camera around 10:00 a.m. He's there. He's alive.
He is. But then Amy is seen again later that evening around 7:30 p.m. at a grocery store.
And this time
She's alone. So we have this 9.5-hour gap. She is the boy in the morning. She doesn't have him in the evening.
And her phone goes dark during that time.
It does. For those critical hours, it's basically off the grid. No calls, no pings, giving a clear route. Now, if you're just handing your son over to a nice couple in a parking lot, why the radio silence?
It suggests the location itself was incriminating.
That's it. If it was a safe place, why hide it so aggressively? And that leads us to the physical evidence in the SUV. Because the secret life theory is hopeful, but the car tells a much darker story.
The blood?
The blood, yeah. After her suicide, police found her SUV. They processed the back seat and found what the official reports call a concerning amount of Timothy's blood.
Now, to be fair, his family says he had really bad nosebleeds. I mean, my kid gets them, and it can look like a horror movie in seconds.
And that's a totally valid point. But forensic investigators look at pattern, not just volume. And while the public hasn't seen the photos, the fact that the investigation pivoted almost immediately from missing to homicide tells you what you need to know.
It didn't look like a simple nosebleed.
It looked like trauma.
Occam's razor. You have a mother in crisis, a missing boy, and his blood in her car. The simplest explanation is usually the right one.
It is. But then where is he? You can't just make a 6-year-old evaporate. And this, for me, is where the case gets truly fascinating. The forensic botany.
I was reading about this and I was blown away. I didn't even know this was a thing. They basically used her car's undercarriage as a map.
It's brilliant science. When you drive off-road, your wheel wells collect this slurry of mud, seeds, and plants. It hardens into layers. It's like a geological timeline of where you've been.
So they scraped the wheel wells. And what did they find?
A very specific botanical signature, a mix of Queen Anne's lace and black mustard plants.
Okay, but those sound like generic weeds to me. You see those everywhere on the highway.
Right, but it's about where they grow together. They thrive in disturbed soil that's been left fallow. So we're not talking about a cornfield. We're not talking about a lawn. We're talking about a meadow or a gravel turnout that hasn't been used in years.
So she definitely went off-road.
The profile suggests she drove into a grassy area, probably backing in, turning around in tall grass. The soil also pointed to being near a small water source, like a creek, not a big river.
So did they pinpoint a location?
They narrowed it down to a 6-county radius in northwestern Illinois.
6 counties.
Yeah.
That's massive.
It's agonizingly large. Thousands of square miles of rural roads and hidden meadows. It's a needle in a stack of needles. But here's the detail that gives me chills.
What's that?
Amy had been there before.
The scouting trips.
Yes. In the months before this spontaneous trip, records show Amy drove to that exact area near Sterling twice. She had no family there, no friends, no business.
She was scouting a location.
That is the leading theory. Now, does a mother scout a location for a handoff? Maybe. But you'd meet it at a diner, a public place. You don't drive your SUV into a field of weeds to hand over your son.
That points right to a burial site.
Exactly. A place where the Queen Anne's lace would hide everything.
But then, just when you think you have it figured out, you look at the missing items, and this yanks us right back to the secret life theory.
The backpack.
Timothy's Spider-Man backpack was gone.
And it wasn't just that. Amy had bought him a whole new set of clothes and toys on the trip. All of that was missing, too.
See, that screams go bag. If I'm sending my kid away, I'm sending him with clothes, toys, his backpack. I'm setting him up for his new life.
It's a very logical conclusion, but then you have to consider a darker concept. Grave goods.
Grave goods.
It's an ancient practice, but we see it in modern cases. When a parent kills a child, especially if they believe they're saving them, they'll often bury the child with their favorite things, gifts for the afterlife.
Wow. That's heartbreaking.
It is, but there's one more missing item that, for me, really makes the go-bag theory fall apart.
What is it?
It wasn't just Timothy's clothes that were missing. Amy's clothes were missing, too.
The clothes she was wearing that day.
Yes. The jeans and shirt she was seen wearing on surveillance video during that blackout period, they were never found.
Why get rid of your own clothes?
Think about it. If you just handed your son over, your clothes are fine. But if you've just committed a violent act, if you've been digging in the dirt, if there is blood or soil from that specific meadow on your jeans...
Those clothes are evidence. You have to destroy them.
You have to. The fact that her clothes vanished along with his suggests she was cleaning a crime scene, not facilitating a transfer.
That makes so much sense. So the physics of the crime scene are all pointing to murder, but the psychology of that note keeps whispering hope.
Right. You'll never find him. Why write that? If he's dead, why not just say, I'm sorry? Why taunt the father like that?
Because it was also about him, wasn't it? Her husband, Jim.
It's a weapon. In the world of victimology, that note is the ultimate weapon. If she leaves the body, the father grieves, he mourns, but eventually he can heal. But if she hides him...
He never heals.
Never. He is trapped in purgatory. Every boy with brown hair, every phone call, it is psychological warfare from beyond the grave. By denying him answers, she maintains control over him forever.
And that ambiguity? That's what led to that horrible hoax a few years ago.
The 2019 incident, yeah. A young man came out of the woods in Kentucky claiming to be Timothy.
I remember that. For 24 hours, it felt like the note was true, like a movie ending.
He claimed he'd been held captive for years. He even looked a bit like the age progression photos. But the DNA test came back?
It wasn't him.
No. It was a 23-year-old man with a history of making false reports. The devastation for the family, I mean, you can't imagine.
It's just so cruel.
It is. And the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children warns families about this. High-profile cases attract imposters. But the families have to chase every lead.
Because the alternative is accepting that the botanists are right.
Exactly.
So let's bring this deep dive home. We're left with two completely different realities.
Possibility A. The Secret Life. Amy told the truth. She pulled off an impossible, airtight placement. She gave Timothy to someone who has kept him off the grid for more than a decade.
Is that even possible? He was 6. He knew his own name.
It's highly, highly unlikely, but not impossible. Look at the Cleveland Three, J.C. Dugard. People can be hidden in plain sight through fear and manipulation. If he was told his dad didn't want him, he might stay silent.
Still, it's so hard to believe. Which brings us to possibility B.
The meadow. The tragic reality. Amy drove to that spot she scouted. She ended his life. She buried him with his backpack and toys, his grave goods. She got rid of her clothes. And she wrote that note to make sure his father would suffer forever.
The botanical evidence points there.
Yeah.
The phone being dumped on the side of the road points there. It was also calculated.
It forces you to confront this terrifying idea that a mother who loved her son enough to take him to the zoo could also be capable of that level of cruelty.
So is the case just cold?
It's cold, but it's never closed. Science gets better every year. Maybe in 5 years they can reanalyze that soil and pinpoint the exact turnout. Maybe a hiker stumbles across a faded Spider-Man backpack.
That backpack, it's the one image you can't shake. It's either in an attic somewhere, belonging to a young man who doesn't know who he is, or it's slowly returning to the earth in a meadow.
And until it's found, both doors stay open, the hope and the horror.
We've linked the age progression photos in the show notes. Please take a look at them. Because if Theory A is true, that face is walking around out there right now.
And if Theory B is true, the answer is written in the landscape.
No mystery stays buried forever. Until next time, keep looking.